You can't begin to study Hungarian without understanding the history of the Hungarian language reform. Language changes don't just happen organically over generations. They can sometimes be intentionally reshaped through social projects that make massive impacts on a country's artistic, social, and political history. Languages, from Chinese to Turkish to Hebrew to Indonesian, all look very different than they did hundreds of years ago, standardized through big nation or state-building processes. Only until after the Hungarian nyelvújítás, or language renewal, Latin was the official language of Hungary for much longer than it had been in basically any other country. Until then, Hungarian was very unstandardized, and it lacked words that could be incorporated easily into the unique logic of Hungarian's grammar and sound system. What's more, many of the most important terms emerging out of European modernity, like science or history, could not be articulated using the Hungarian words of the time. There were also growing nationalist movements around the world uniting populations around linguistic or ethnic identities, and it's no coincidence that this language reform preceded the Hungarian War of Independence against the Austrians, in which poets played no small part. The biggest historical figure driving this reform was the clerk, poet, and translator Ferenc Kazinczy, who translated a short story in German and was complimented on his word innovation, which inspired his mission for language renewal. He was your classic Enlightenment age guy, a reformer inspired by Voltaire and Freemasonry and deism and all that. His life was fascinating and too much to briefly summarize, but before being arrested, he served as Inspector of Education, known as the Apostle of Hungarian language renewal. There was a ton of debate at the time around what were logical adaptations of the Hungarian language and what were ridiculous excesses. While Kazinczy himself criticized many less serious wordsmiths, the moderate language reformer Gedeon Somogyi published the satirical novel Mondalat, or Sentence, accusing him of many of their excesses, depicting Kazinczy on a donkey wearing a wreath. In response to Sentence, defenders of Kazinczy, including the author of the current Hungarian national anthem, published Felelet, or Answer. The modern impact of this language reform is vast and inescapable. Follow me to learn more about some of the most interesting words that it resulted in.